Viewers, we have some big breaking news coming in, and this as far as the interim president is concerned. And what we understand is that as far as the tensions of Venezuela with the United States is concerned, they have already dramatically escalated, and the U.S. conducted military strikes across Caracas and other states, targeting military and government sites, including Puerto Tijuana, La Carlota base, and also the port at La Guaira. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured and removed from the country. The U.S. State Department says Maduro will finally face justice for his crimes, though the Venezuelan government says it has no information about their whereabouts and demands proof of life from the U.S. Venezuela has also declared a national emergency, mobilizing its defense forces and warning of resistance to any foreign troops, their presence on ground. Meanwhile, U.S. airspace restrictions have been imposed over Venezuelan territory. Now, a fresh political twist is also emerging in Venezuela amid escalating tensions with the U.S. viewers, because U.S. investigative journalist Laura Loomer has claimed that Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodríguez is set to be announced as the country's interim president, and the claim made by this particular journalist, citing unnamed sources, comes hours after US President Donald Trump confirmed that American forces carried out a large-scale attack against Venezuela and captured President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, extracted them out of the country. And posting on platform X, Loomer said Delcy Rodríguez could take charge following the US operation and Trump's announcement. There is, however, no official confirmation from the Venezuelan government so far. Earlier, Vice President Rodríguez had said that the whereabouts of President Maduro and First Lady Cilia Flores were unknown and demanded proof of life. And on the other hand, the Venezuelan defense minister has also vowed action, saying that they will not negotiate. He also added that now the authorities are compiling information about the dead and the injured in the US strikes. No official figure of casualties has been declared yet to determine the scale of the US operation in the heart of Venezuela. And to help us understand the geopolitical ramifications and also the impact on the world order, we have Robinder Sachdeva, President of the Imagine India Institute, Major General Sudhakar Ji, Defense and Strategic Expert, and Surinder Singh Lali, Foreign Affairs Expert, joining us on this broadcast. In fact, before we go over to our guests, let's also tell you about Russia's reaction, because Russia has completely decried the attack, saying that this is unacceptable for the US to launch such an operation, and calls Maduro's capture unacceptable. Russia calls for immediate clarification from Washington, D.C., and this comes even as the whereabouts of Maduro and his wife are unknown. Russia has now come out with a statement saying that the attack is unacceptable. Robinder Sachdeva, good evening, sir, and good evening, gentlemen, for joining us on this broadcast. Let me come across to you first, Mr. Robinder Sachdev. Please tell me what's happening in Venezuela, because nobody knows who's the interim, head, but an investigative journalist has said that the vice president could possibly take over as the interim chief.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be with you and the eminent colleagues. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We are all consuming the news that you guys are giving and, getting to us. But yeah, it seems that, yes, under the Venezuelan constitution, in case of absence of the president, it's the vice president who can assume the interim presidency. So that's the constitutional, scope or lay of the land out there. So it seems that Delcy, the vice president, is assuming the presidency. But secondly, also, the defense minister has called for continuing and said that, we will not be bowed down. Bottom line, it seems that the army, military, and Maduro's party, for the time being, they are sustaining and in power. Okay, the head has been in a way decapitated or, captured away. But the army and the military establishment are sticking with the Maduro regime. And that's extremely important for what will happen in the coming days and weeks. The Venezuelan army has been very much in partnership, if you could say, or loyal with Maduro. Because one of the things that Maduro did was that he gave out good, perks and opportunities for corruption and money making to the army and army generals. Most of the army generals were, appointed to the public sector enterprises of Venezuela, right? The oil producing company, PDVSA, their chairman, the directors and all. So this way, Maduro ensured that all army generals or the top elite of the army had a finger or a piece of the pie. So that was one. Secondly, the army is, of course, also blamed for a lot of human rights abuses and kidnappings and such. So what it means is that the army and the leaders of the army realize that if the Maduro regime changes, right, and let's say there's a opposition or such a grouping which comes to power, then these generals would be exposed to whatever the charges are and they could be sent to jail and punishment awaits them. So with both these factors that they have their current interests as well as they're fearful of a change that the army is sticking with or would be with Maduro's, even if Maduro is not there with the political system that Maduro has set up. That is what essentially the challenge I think now is. America would very much want, and the US is trying, to get the army to twist its positioning so that it steps away and there is space created for opposition leaders to come in and to claim the governance through whichever means. But for the time being, it seems that the Maduro, let's say, pyramid of power is there. Maybe the top has removed, the VP has moved up. Maybe tomorrow the VP, who's the interim, could also be kidnapped or killed. Maybe then the next one would come in. So the idea for America is clear and simple: regime change. And one last thing before we go in, because others,
Yeah.
America has struck not only at Maduro and taken him out for various reasons, leftist, socialist, anti-America, and all. American bombing was also targeted at a monument and a mausoleum, whatever, of Chavez, the symbol of socialism, leftist ideology and thought in Venezuela. So America is looking at a regime change, is looking completely sweeping away any socialist symbols, if one could say that,
That's right.
in Venezuela.
That's right. And Major General Sudhakarji, foreign military launching such a huge scale of operation, and this is not even, detected. Do you think this is a complete failure of its air defense as well as the intelligence grid?
Absolutely. Uh, the fact of the matter is, firstly, good evening. Thank you for inviting me to your channel.